Welcome into camp. It's a bit of a wet one today. It's 10:30, and yeah, we're not going to do anything this trip. It's been an interesting last few weeks since the last camp. So my last camp was in, I think, early June, and very shortly after the last trip, my car started to overheat. Oh. The old knees. Yeah, so the car, really about the start of the heat wave that we had, it was really hot, and I was just driving locally, and the car, it's a almost 11-year-old BMW, and to be fair, up until really this situation, it's been flawless. Not had any problems with it, at all. And as I say, about a month ago, it started to overheat, and it sort of flashed up a yellow warning. You'll have to slow down to let the car cool down. So I was kind of like sort of thinking, okay, it'll cool down and it'll be okay. Anyway, a few minutes later, the yellow light turned to a red light, and basically it just lost all power. As I say, luckily I wasn't too far from home. It certainly wasn't, it was about 5 or 6 miles. It wasn't far. So I had to get the car taken in because it kept doing it, and it clearly wasn't. It was clearly our fault. So anyway, I got the car home, but it took like 2 hours to get the car home because I basically drove like a kilometre, and then before it got hot again, I basically just stopped, and then I drove another kilometre and stopped, and yeah, so we kind of got home eventually, but we got a couple of yellow warnings and I stopped. No more red warnings, so we obviously didn't do any damage. Anyway, we got home. I phoned the RAC the next morning, and I phoned them at 8:30 in the morning, or 8 o'clock in the morning, thinking, let's get the car over to BMW and get it fixed so I can get the car back. Anyway, they finally turned up at about 3 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and obviously towed the car in. And that was probably about a month ago, and I still don't have the car. We'll come on to why in a moment. It's not serious. In fact, if they had the part, they'd fix it in a couple of hours. Anyway, I've been waiting so long that I said, I want to come down, camping this week, because I was going to go. I think I was always going to go this week, to be fair. But there was a few other things that I wanted to. There was a few things that I wanted to do. Fella, get your paw off that. So I was really in need of a car. So I did sort of push a little bit last week for a loan car. And then, because I've got an insurance on the car that if anything goes wrong with it, you know, that they will fix it. But realistically, I don't know what your thoughts are on insurance for cars, because it's been so reliable that, as I say, until this issue now, because when I got the car, I did get it new, you know, 11 years ago, and I'd never had a BMW before, and I was like sort of thinking, well, it sounds a bit posh. It might break down every 5 minutes, and therefore, you know, maybe an insurance is a wise investment. And it was like, I'm not sure how much I'm paying. It's like 130 or 150 pounds a month. But you add that up over, you know, over 10 years, then that works out at quite a lot. It's like £18,000 or something. So, you know, I'm not really sure that it's worth paying all that, because, I mean, any work that needs doing, yes, it might be several thousand or something, or 1,000 or bits here and there, but whether it's going to work out, you know, I don't know, that's the thing with insurance. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. If I get another one, I probably won't bother. I think just sort of, you know, get the car and hope another one. I want to get another one at some point in the next few years. I'll probably get the same before they all go electric. I want to get another petrol car. I'm very happy for people to have electric. That's fine. It's just I like petrol. It's really not very nice out. So anyway, yeah. So apparently it was a heat pump or a pump. I don't know if it's a heat pump, but it was a pump and a thermostat that had gone, and they said that it was. Well, first of all, they thought that it was in the warehouse in Germany and that it would be sent over, you know, within 10 days. And then they said that it was in the factory in Germany and that it had to get to the warehouse in Germany and then here. And then it would have been done by late last week. So I would have had my car then. But now it transpires that the parts were being made in Lithuania, because obviously BMW have got a factory in Lithuania, have been made there and then shipped to the Germany warehouse and then here. So it's still, so the parts that I need are still not in this country yet. So hopefully they're supposed to get here in the next week. Sorry, I tell a lie. They're supposed to get to Germany, the German warehouse, in the next week. And then it's up to 10 days to get to here. So hopefully and then it's a 2-hour job. It won't take them long. So hopefully by the end of the month, I'll have my car back. Anyway, I did say, you know, I really want to, you know, I want to get out camping and I want to do a couple of bits where I need the car next week. And we've got the mum and dad's house up on the market. And we've had the house, I've had the house cleared out of everything, but kept a few bits. So I need a car to get those bits over to my house. So the last 10 days, I've been walking backwards and forwards once a day or once every other day with a rucksack and just putting stuff in a pack. And obviously it's a walk as well, walking barrel. So I've done quite a lot of walking and getting some stuff back, but there's quite a bit of heavy, bulky stuff. So I really need the car, you know, for that. So, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, the house goes in the not too distant future, but it's in a very, very poor state of repair. So, well, we've had to sort of, you know, knock it down a bit and then hope that someone will buy it, you know, as an investment thing. But we'll see. We might, I don't know. We'll have to see. Fingers crossed it goes. And then we've got my dad's finally moved in with me. So he's been with me now 2 weeks today. 2 weeks today. It's Wednesday today, isn't it? Yeah, so he's been with me 2 weeks now. So he's in the dining room, and I've got the carers going around into the conservatory, into the dining room, and that little system works out well. He needs 2 carers 4 times a day, because unfortunately he can stand, but with support and a stand aid, which is basically a little thing that you kind of, it's basically like, imagine a ladder on a trolley kind of thing. You kind of put your feet on it on the ground, but it's got like little wheels on it, and then you just hold on, and then you can get pushed around. It's not really very dignified, to be honest. It's a sad way, that we end up, we all end up, well, we don't necessarily all end up that way, but, we all end up slightly demised as time goes by. So it's sad, really, because he's losing his memory a bit. He's still with it, but he loses his memory isn't what it was, and it does get a bit confused. And he sort of says, "Oh, can I help him onto the commode?" And then every time I have to remind him that we have to wait for the carer or carers to come around to move him, because we need 2 carers. So, as I think I mentioned in my last video, I'm doubling up as a carer, which, to be honest, is no real hardship, because I'm there anyway. And I got to put the dogs in the lounge out the way when the carers come. So it's not really, it's no real, there have been a couple of times when I've sort of booked 2 carers 4 times a day, and all I'm doing is just standing around or watching over them. So really, when I'm there, it's definitely better that I act as the other carer, because like I said, I got to do something with the dog. So it's not as if I can even relax in that. Obviously now I'm here, so now we've got 2 carers 4 times a day, because obviously I'm not there. But it works out fine when I'm there. I just do the wheelie around bit, and obviously they do the clearing up bit. Yeah, so it's kind of a bit disturbing for him that he has to, crap, poop, shit, whatever word we want to use, in his pad, because they have to put a pad on him. So he's got to pee in that and crap in that, and it's just not, I don't know, it's humans as an odd, excuse me not looking directly at you, I probably maybe should put my glasses on, it's misty and miserable, but it's quite bright, and it's making me squint a bit. It's kind of a miserable way to go out, really. Anyway, I don't think he'll go imminently. Although, to be fair, it will probably be, I don't know if maybe a relief isn't quite the right word to use, but I don't know. It's just not a very nice way to be living now, and I'm sure, as my dad and I would have said in the past, if we get to that point, just finish it off. But you can't do that, so you've just got to, you've got to live, deal with it, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, philosophically, I mean the sooner the better, but I don't mean it like that, but it's just not very nice when you see someone that you see a family member and they're like that, and you don't really know, it's another sort of strange thought that I had. If he had cancer, it'd be like, okay, well, he's got like 6 months of that, and they wouldn't bother treating at that age and stage and everything, and then it'd be like 6 months of that, and then a relief for everybody. But obviously he doesn't have that, so we could be like this for a while until the body just finally packs it in. I'm quite a hard, harsh-minded person. I get upset and cry, and obviously I don't want him to go, obviously, but it's, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens, but I don't think he's going to go. He seems quite strong in himself, so I don't think he's going to go imminently, but I think it's a case of making the most of what we've got, while he's still with it, and just hope. He's not really, apart from the indignity of it at the moment, he's not, I wouldn't say he's suffering at the moment, although it's really not very nice. I hope it just doesn't get to the point where suffering comes in, because I just don't like that idea. Anyway, enough of that. So, basically, he's with me. They gave me a loan car, which I've got now until mine is ready at the end of the month. So I thought, let's just get down here and we'll just pack stuff. We'll bring all the dogs, because my neighbour's looking after the cats, and like I said, it's because there's carers in and out. We have to put the dogs in the lounge 4 times a bloody day. But it's either that or a care home, and if it was in a care home, it would be like 6,000 a week or something. I mean, it's, well, I haven't worked hard all my life, so but people work hard all their lives, and they want to provide for their children, at a future stage, if you get what I mean. So they don't, and we don't necessarily just want to chuck them in our home so that all the money goes off. Apart from the fact it's really not very, I wouldn't want him just stuck in a home, because I know you probably wouldn't. You'd only go around, it's a bit of an effort to go today, or I can't go today, or I'm busy today, and then you probably don't even get to see them. And I think that's more miserable than anything. At least with me, we're saving money, because obviously I'm doubling up as a carer when I'm there. Because if I had 2 carers 4 times a day, that would be £4,000 a month. So by me doubling up, that obviously, if I doubled up all of it, then that would be like 2,000. Obviously, I need to get out. So I'm sort of, take like having like 10 or 12 or 15, depending on what it is. At the moment, I think this month it will probably be about 8 or 9 days. August, it will probably be like 11 days. Because I'm not going to do much in August and school holidays and everything. Maybe like September and October, I might take a couple more days, and go off for the day or something. But even then, it's quite limiting, especially when we start getting into the winter. Because normally I could go off for half a day and just leave the dogs or dogs or whichever I was taking or not taking at home for half a day, and they're fine. They just sleep and rest, and then that they're fine. It's just not a problem. But I can't do that now, because of course if the carers are in or out, even if I'm not there, I can ask my neighbour to pop in, and I might very well do that, but it's just not as convenient. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. But maybe in like September or October, I'll maybe just take all the dogs and do something for a day. But it's really not easy. I may be able to try and do it a bit, try and practice a bit more walking with them, but I have to admit, it's not easy walking with these 3 on a lead. It's not impossible. It's doable, but it's it's not. It's challenging, I have to say, trying to keep them all together, because you've got all different ages and enthusiasms and sizes. You know, it's just an utter mixture of dogs and everything. But you know, it's better that he's with me. You know, at least that way I see him. I can help. You know, do my bit. You know, they've done everything for me, so you know, really, it's kind of like the least that we can do is to, you know, do something to help and, you know, give them something, you know, give them something back. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, you know, hopefully it goes okay and it's not for forever and ever. I wouldn't want to be like that forever and ever. I wouldn't. Yeah, but you know, it is what it is, and we will make him comfortable. Anyway, that's that. Yeah, so we're out here. It's really bright, but there's a little bit of mist, but not. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so bright, yet it's just. Oh, my knees. My knees are really annoying, and it's just really not. Yep. It's just really not nice. It's in the air, and it's just like we're cozy in here though. But yeah, it's really misty, but it's quite bright. It's bright on my eyes, but it's there's no condensation at all. Everyone loves their condensation, but there's none. There's just no. It's bone dry in here. So yeah. So anyway, that's sort of the home front. I don't know what else to say about that really. Yeah. So we sort of. Oh, Mum's been gone now. Oh, goodness, what's it? So it's the middle of July now. So, you know, beginning of April, May, June. It's only like 2.5 months. It doesn't seem that. Well, it seems longer than that. But it's only April. No, it's 3 months, isn't it? Because it was basically all of April, because it was the beginning of April. It was like literally 2 days after, 3 days after I came back from Norway. So it's like, you know, sort of, yeah, so April, May, June, yeah, so it'll be 4 months in at the beginning of August. But yeah, it's just strange. I think there's so much happening, and even that hasn't really sunk in completely. But it really wasn't unexpected. I don't know. What a strange camping conversation. I think I'm going to have a cup of tea. So we sorted out my dad, we've sorted out the car. So we'll be back here in August. So what I've done for August, I've got a house sitter booked for August. So I've got 2 trips booked for August. So I hope that she's okay with my dad in the house. Because obviously I've explained that she'll have to put the dogs in the other room or take them for a walk or something like that, and you know, and see how that goes. And then I'll try and get out camping again in September. And what I do camping for September is I'll get Bella out, and then I'll ask my neighbour to, you know, look after the other 2, because they're really not a problem, the other 2. He can pop in and put them in the, you know, if he can pop in and just put them in the lounge 4 times a day, then that will enable me, you know, to get out, you know, without them. If he can't, or it's too much, I don't know what I'll do. I'd have to see if I can get a house sitter But I think he'll be okay. I don't think it's that complicated to pop in the house 4 times a day, which he'd be doing that anyway to keep an eye on the dogs and the cats, which he's already doing. It's just obviously probably what he's doing at the moment is, oh, I'm going to pop in now, or I'm going to finish or I'm going to pop in, whereas obviously now it's more regimented. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to have a cup of tea. I've had breakfast. We're just in our usual spot on Dartmoor. I'm just going to stay in camp this time. This is really just, you know, a relaxing in camp. Let's just get all the dogs out. Let's get away and just, you know, I don't know if I'm going to recharge my batteries or not. But yeah, we'll just sort of take it easy and see how it goes. It's almost, I might get away with, it's still a bit in the air, but not too bad. If Jake, this catch thing is actually not that bad, to be honest. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it depends on how it's, oh, my knees. Maybe it depends on how it's tied on. But if you put it on that way, then it works quite well. And I'm not just saying it because I'm a fanboy. It actually does work okay, and you can get it off one-handed just. So it's actually, so far, it doesn't seem too bad, you know, if you can have it, you know, angled this way. And it doesn't seem to, well, obviously if you do it up backwards, then this bit here can catch on the material. But if you do it this way, then that seems to work. Well, I'll keep an eye on it and see what happens, but so far so good. There's one. Where's the other? Is the other dopey dog behind me? Yeah, so there's one. She's come under cover. And then there's the other one. Dopey dog. I'll tell you what though, I've never seen this so, oh, she's come out now. I've never seen this so low. Normally it's flowing well over that seaweed stuff, over that moss. But we have had like literally a month of really hot weather. But it's the original forecast for today was rain, just all day rain, and then it changed to all day mist with the odd shower. So I think it's mostly just going to be misty today, and then I think tomorrow morning it'll be misty, but we're supposed to get a sunny period in the afternoon, so we'll see. What I did bring with me, and we will try it tomorrow when we get a bit of sun, that large solar thing. It came with an accessory, a cigarette lighter accessory, and 25, nearly 30 years ago, when I was in America or Canada, I bought a flask. It probably is nearly 30 years ago now. It's insane. I brought like a flasky thing, or a like a flask kettle thing that you plug into a car cigarette lighter, so we could make hot tea, you know, tea. So I thought I'd bring in, we've had a heat wave for, you know, like literally a month of just non-stop sun, and then of course the day that I come out, it's this horrible misty weather. But so I might, if it's not, because I don't really want the mist and the wet to get on the kettle thing, because I don't know. There's no point in just getting it damp for the sake of it. So it's supposed to be dry tomorrow, so we'll maybe just try that tomorrow, and just see whether it warms see if it even warms the water up. I was really hoping we'd have, you know, a day of sun, but we can try it tomorrow afternoon and just see how much, just to see how warm it gets. You know, it'll give us an idea. Anyway, I'm gonna have a cup of tea and we will catch up in a minute. This is the life. Chilling out, relaxing, under cover. We've got I've just opened the door. I may do it back up again in a minute, because it's a very light, fine, drizzly rain. If I was in bed, it might not reach me. Might not. Although I did feel a little bit of mist on my face about 6 o'clock this morning, so I had to close the door up then. But we're just chilling out, relaxing, just taking in the atmosphere. Still no real condensation of any note. I've got the big solar panel, so we're going to try and heat water tomorrow with the solar panel, but I'm not I'm not holding my breath, but we will see, you know, we will see how it goes. I will want to make sure that I've got enough power before I commit to doing that, but I think so. My 10,000 is going to get a couple of hours now, but in this weather I don't think it will get very many percentages. It's down to 3%, so we will look at it sort of mid-morning. I put a little bit of power into that one, but I can't, because there's no actual percentage on it. It's just, you know, dots. It's difficult to know how much it put in there, but it would have put a bit in. So we've put, you know, we've put a bit into there. So overnight, I'll make sure that both phones are fully charged. That's the only thing that we need charging, because I've got a spare battery for this DJI. So it's just the two phones that I need to make sure I've got plenty of power for tonight and then all day tomorrow. And given that's 26,000 and there's at least 3/4 in it, so that's at least 15,000 in there. That should be more than enough to top up two phones. What I have noticed is it is much better to charge your phone from a power bank when you're not using the phone, because I found that if you charge it, it's okay to do it if you've got plenty of power, but if you're being a bit careful, then I have noticed that it kind of uses the power from the power bank as much as from the battery, and then you drain the power bank and you're not really charging up. It seems to be a lot less efficient that way. I will close this door because that leg is getting a little bit misty rain on it. But yeah, it's only coming up to 6. We have eaten. I did one of my dehydrated meals that I put in there. It was basically mince, basically bolognese, basically spaghetti bolognese, but not spaghetti, but pasta. So we had that. We've had soup. I forgot the dog's water bottle or water bowl, which was really silly. I don't think I've done that before. So good job we're right by the water, because these two just go to the water. Lizzie, of course, is drinking water from my cup. So I'll finish my tea and then I'll put water in it, and then Lizzie can have some water from here. That is one thing even though I've got everything organised, and there probably is a dog bowl right under my nose, that is the one thing I found, that sometimes when you haven't done something for a little while, although it's only been a few weeks, it hasn't been that long, but I don't know, I just think maybe so much has been going on. I remembered everything else, and the dog food, but the dog, and I don't bring a dog bowl for the food, because I just put the food on the ground. Because when I've brought a dog bowl for the dog food, they just knock it over anyway. So, but I do need to bring one for water. And as I say, I normally remember. Oh. Anyway, I better close this. So let's try this thing. Oh, look, that's quite easy. So there's really no problems with that. That does work. I think it works quite well, actually. You do have to be, you got to make sure that it's facing out. But yeah, I must admit, it seems to work okay. Oh. I'm kind of glad I brought, yeah, of course I haven't mentioned, this is the Duo Mid. This is the new Duo Mid, so Ron sent me out a new one because my old one was stuck up with tape. Yeah, we've actually all, even Lass's come undercover. Mind you, I called her in because she was outside. And I called her in, and she did come in, but I won't be surprised if she disappears outside again. And I managed to get Bella to settle down. And then I've got the little shrimp there. I've put the foam mat over there for her, but she's half on this soft foam mat here and the ground sheet.